I've got a wee job on my car today. It's a 2008 Range Rover L322 3.6 Tdv8. It's a front track control arm, offside front. Part number RBJ500920. There seems to be a wee bit of confusion when you're jacking Range Rovers up. People think they have to keep the tailgate open or switch the hazards on or shake their left leg, or all you do, have the suspension on the normal right height, apply your handbrake, chock the wheels, I use bricks, and jack it up. There's a different technique if you're using like a two-poster ramp, but we're not going to use that. Just if you're using your normal jack, you don't have to. There's no funny procedures. Get the car jacked up. Now I usually jack it up I'm not one for the Land Rover jacking points on these cars, like. Just get it jacked up at the bottom arm. It goes on the subframe. That's jacked up. An axle stand. Never work on a car with just relying on a jack. Any type of jack. Always support it on an axle stand. So that's under the main part of the front subframe. Right, next thing to do is off the fuel 22mm socket. Just have a look and see what's to be done on this. Right, that's the arm there. So you've got the inner bolt to take off, you've got the wee height sensor just under there, and you've got a nut which goes onto the front knuckle. So it's a pretty straightforward job. Yeah, I've turned the steering right hand lock, just get a bit easier to get in. Quick wire brush. Squishy WD-40. Right, the heat sensor, you've actually got a, let's see, that's on like a sort of rubber grommet. But what I'll do, you've got the wheat bracket going through the arm. I'm just going to take the bracket right off because there's less chance, you know, way to break that. Then I'll get that slackened off. Right, so by rights, that nut shouldn't be that tight. Also, that whole thing's turning there now. Right, that's height sensor disconnected. You really want to just try and leave that in place, in position. You know why start mucking about with that, because I'm sure I've had trouble before, and that sort of throws the height calibration out. The ball joint nut is actually 22mm, and so is the nut on the inner bolt. I've not got a 22mm socket, I've got the old 7/8 AF. Next best thing. Now, let's see how tight this is. Leave it in there. Oh, that's tight. Let me get the old foot job on it. Seems to be coming off not too bad. Got a better camera position. If you ever got trouble with a ball joint and you've maybe got that nut halfway off and it starts spinning, the best way to do is get a jack under there and put weight on it, and that gets the taper of the ball joint back into the knuckle, and that usually does the job. Right, I'll get that off. That seems to be coming off alright. I soaked these ball joints a couple of days before as well with a bit of WD-40. If you're taking that nut off and it feels a bit tight, wind it back on. And give it another scoosh with WD-40. There's actually two bottom arms on a Range Rover. You've got that, the front one I'm doing, and you've got that rear one. That rear one can be a bit of a pig. And the bolt joint that goes along with it, the bolt joint's separate. Right, that's coming. Right, I'll get this off. Right, that's me got that nut off. That nut was tight to the very end. So I'll pull it back on a couple of threads, right, off with the other one. The other one, that's a 22mm nut, and the bolt head is 21mm. Right, so see if I get the impact wrench into this. Hopefully. Nope. It's going to be a ratchet job. Ratchet. Oh my god, that's tight there. Right, there's a washer at the back of that. Let's see if that'll work out. Sure, it says on the Range Rover workshop manual you're supposed to renew that inner bolt. So, sorry to say, but I'm putting old one back on. Right, next thing is to get this ball joint out this knuckle. This seems to be a bit of a problem for a lot of people. All you have to do, I've got a better hammer than that, you just hit it straight on there. You don't need a ball joint splitter, just hit it straight on there and that'll drop out. That's why I've left out on a couple of threads. Right, I'll go and get my bigger hammer. Right, that's my hammer, that's £2. That's an old hammer. For my dad used to work in the coal board, NCB. Well, right, 2 or 3 good hits, this should come off. There we go. Bugging about the ball joint splitters. Or claw hammers, you need a good hammer. Right, I'll take that. That should just come right out there. My car's actually due an MOT. I gave it an MOT check. I also noticed the front tyres were sort of feathering on the inside. That's the reason. I know you can get these bushes separate, but that's well had it. So I got the iron for a good price. I thought, well, I'm going to have that off. May as well just replace the whole lot. These arms, the same arm does the left or the right. So, and I'm sure there's the same for the Range Rover, all the L322s. Sure they're all the same. Right, the next step is get the arm back on. Right, I would get the inner bolt in first. Washer and the nut. Not with a ball joint. You might have to straighten that up a wee bit. Oh. Just ever so slightly. Push the hub in a bit. Get it. Right, we'll tighten that ball joint up first. It should spin on easy enough, hopefully. Right, I'll get that tightened up. Right, I'll put that another spanner on there and give that a good tighten up. Right, I reckon that's tight enough. Now the inner one, you would just get that up, just sort of loosely tighten that up, because you want to get the car back on the ground at the usual right height. Drive the car back and forward a wee bit just to settle it in, then you tighten that up. Right, that's enough for that, just that tight. So you're just pinching it out basically. If I tightened up the now, that's going to grab that bush, and when you put the weight on that, the bush is all going to twist, and it'll only last 5 minutes. Right, back in with the height sensor. See that? And with that, that's just a 10mm. Oh, a 10mm spanner fits that. And I'm sectioned up. I've actually got the other side today as well. It's just obviously exactly the same job. So that's it. That's basically the job done. So I've got that just pinched up there, so the bush can still pivot. The little 10mm nuts back on, and that's tightened FT. That's the other back, the other arm there. That actually goes into has a separate ball joint. I like to see that, just for future reference. Again, if you can see that or not. That arm. That's the back arm, and that goes into a ball joint, and that ball joint is actually into the knuckle or the hub carrier, whatever you want to call it, and they are a pure pig today. What I have to do on this side, put the front wheel on, put it back down, drive it back and forward, then tighten that inner bolt up. And I would recommend any time you get suspension or steering work done, get your steering geometry checked. Highly recommended. That's the tyre wear I was saying. Just sort of, it's unusual tune up.